At a new dawn where light meets darkness, an ancient story of return begins. A story that has never been told before, but has always been present in the memory of the earth, in the silence of the stones, and in the pulse of the sacred waters. The city of Varanasi, the oldest city in the world, where time flows like the Ganges, where the past meets the present, and the spiritual meets the earthly. Here, where many believe that souls are freed from the shackles of the body, the first upheavals that will open the gates of the unknown began. Varanasi is a name that means more than just a place. It is a symbol of eternity, the meeting point of the human and the divine. Here, for thousands of years, pilgrims have stood before the Kashi Vishwanath temple, seeking blessings and purity. Here, under a pure blue sky, the sounds of hymns filled the air, mingling with the echo of the pilgrims walking slowly towards the sacred river. But on this dawn, everything seemed different. As the first light of the sun appeared, there was a strange feeling in the air, like a whisper coming from deep within the earth. People began to notice something unfamiliar. It was not just a feeling, it was real, tangible. The earth itself began to move, as if responding to an ancient call, a call that had long lain dormant in the depths of time. The first thing the pilgrims noticed were the small cracks that began to appear on the statues of ancient deities inside the temple. These statues, which had withstood the elements for over 1,000 years, were now cracking as if they could no longer bear the weight of what was coming. The priests, accustomed to interpreting celestial signs, stood dumbfounded by this phenomenon. They knew something big was happening, but they could not fully understand it. Then came the earthquake. Not an ordinary earthquake, but a mysterious tremor that seemed to pulsate from deep within the earth, like a giant heart awakening from a long slumber. The pilgrims, carrying flower garlands and lit lamps, began to scream and run away from the temple. Panic spread quickly, but it was not just fear of a natural disaster. There was a sense that something else, something bigger, was looming. As the eyes turned towards the Ganges, everyone saw a scene that would never be erased from their memories. The river water, which had been reflecting the sunlight calmly and clearly, began to change. It began to turn a deep red, as if the river itself was bleeding. Was this just an imagination, or a message from a higher power? At that moment, as the sky grew darker despite the sunlight, the high priest, a man who had spent his life serving the gods, stood before the terrified crowd. His eyes were filled with tears, and his voice was trembling but firm. He spoke words that would echo in everyone's minds for years to come. This is not a natural disaster. It is a message from the gods. It is the return of Kali. Name Kali, when spoken, struck a deep fear into the hearts of the pilgrims. Kali, the goddess of destruction and renewal, had always been a symbol of uncontrollable power. For some, Kali was a symbol of hope, for she came to destroy evil and restore balance. But for others, Kali was a symbol of fear, for destruction often comes before renewal, and at that moment, when the words ended, everyone felt that the world had changed. It was not just an earthquake or a change in the color of the river. It was much bigger. It was the beginning of something new, something that could not be explained by science or logic. It was a return. When civilizations collapse, the gods return to restore balance. But what kind of balance will it be? Will it be one of peace or destruction? Will this return be a blessing or a curse? This is just the beginning, and what happens next, no one knows.